So, hey guys, appreciate you all tuning in. I'm Anthony McCann, VP of Global Operations and co-founder here at Dev Centre House Ireland. With me today, I have Twana Daniel, our CTO, and Richard, who is one of our lead software developers within Dev Centre House on the interim career path to CTO.
Okay.
So what we'd like to do is discuss different topics in regards to how we help businesses, I suppose, scale and grow. And one of those that I'm going to kick off with is how we fundamentally help founders in regards to their idea perspective to in a funding perspective. So how we get that, I suppose, initial turnover and I suppose the overall objective in regards to how they can build a life cycle and roadmap to success. So maybe what I'll do is I will pass to you, Twana, just to talk about specifically what we do from the tech side. Then we will go into the business side, because obviously tech is the key starting point, and then when we go into the business side, it's looking after deployment and obviously that go-to-market strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anthony. So, the question is like, how do we go from the idea to get funding, right? So with that, typically what we have is whenever we start building any product, I want to get to really clear what is the problem that we're solving. Right? So get understanding on that is absolutely critical.
Yep.
And so once we understand that this is the problem we're solving, the next question that I really want to get you founders to think about really quickly is, what is it that you want? Do you want this MVP, this product that you're trying to build, to raise money? So you want a version of your idea that we're going to build the MVP that is just function is to actually raise money, so then you could take that money and build the next thing? Or you want to actually solve a problem that you're going to deploy this product and within 4 months aim to actually generate revenue. So typically when I give that option to founders, very quickly they realize, wow, we were actually just trying to do just raise money. But when we realize that, hey, look, let's focus on building a product that is going to solve a problem, that's going to generate revenue, and the investor will just come by itself. So it's really about making sure that we get the founder to think and focus on the right thing. I mean, I can reflect on some recent conversation. I'm having a lot of those conversations with different founders, globally. At least, somewhere between 10 to 15 of these conversations happens every month. And it's really important that the founder think and focuses on the right sequence of steps in the early development. Because if you get really fast into the nitty-gritty of the development, you lose track of what's really important. And so if you want to get funding, you want to make sure what is really important to the investor, or whether you're going to be raising money from any sort of enterprise ecosystem, let's say in Ireland, Enterprise Ireland, or anything like that you're going to be raising money from. We want to make sure that we're solving a problem. Yes, we're going to have users really quickly. Yes, we're going to start charging money. So that means the product that we're actually going to be building, it is going to be generating revenue. And once you get this clarity on very early on, very quickly, we can actually shift things around. And then we get into the development, into the technical side. So what features we need to have. And then we start chopping it down, because if you think like that, you guaranteed that you're not going to make mistakes that by building things that's not going to be used, like building a highly complex app that's going to rely on assuming that, hey, look, this app here, let's take some other successful applications that does X, Y, and Z, has this feature and has subscription model. But in reality, this app has a lot of users. When you launch a product, you've got no users. To get users is going to cost money. And often things like, okay, I'm building an app. Okay, do we really need an app? Perhaps we might just get away with just building a website. So I think it's the psychology of the sequence of steps that we follow. And of course, speaking to a partner that understands that if you take this route, it's going to take you X number of days or X number of months. These are the 4 problems you're going to have along the line. And just being able to save investors from making those kind of early mistakes, which helps them to focus on what really matters. And investors are really smart. They can see through this thing from founders. So if the founder is focusing on the right things and deploying the product and really quickly get users, then investor will be wanting to invest in these kind of products. And we of course help by also introducing investors to these products, because we, quite frankly, as a company, have a habit of to try our level best to not touch products that we know it's not going to be successful.
Absolutely.
So we help you to say, hey, look, it's your decision, it's your company, but here's what we have found from building 1,000+ applications out there that we've built from the 70, 80 large enterprises that we built deployment for, and many macro level applications. Here are the common mistakes that's been made, and here are the things that you should be aware of when we actually do it. And the stage that you're in now, it's critical that we focus on what matters in that stage. And how much money you have also makes a huge difference. If you're a founder and you've got 20,000 euros to build an app, you need to do different things than a founder that have 2 million euros to build an app, right? So you need to understand that the stage you're in, you need to do different things. And that's what we really understand really well. And that has been very helpful to the founders that we help with.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, if you're a founder looking for help and looking to talk to an expert like us, more than happy to jump on a call and give you guys an hour to really deep dive and really help you guys out, because that is what we do as a company.
Fantastic. So what I'd like to do, Twana, is bring you back to a conversation that we had with two founders within Dublin last night. Mm-hmm. So we obviously had a very, very late call with these guys. We gave them some ideas in regards to what avenues they could explore from not only the startup perspective, but the different avenues and different roadmaps that they're going to have to get through to get the product off the ground.
Right.
So maybe if we tie back to that, obviously there was a lot of value giving to those specific founders in regards to where they currently are now, looking for, I suppose, funding from the local enterprise office, and then look at funding from other sources of investors. And I suppose the value you offered in regards to what to do and what not to do was really received very, very well. And I think a lot of founders and startups out there will want to know, well, what is the secret that we gave them? But they'd have to come on a call so we could actually get some details in regards to how we can help. But let's go back to that conversation last night. So they obviously wanted to build an app.
Yeah.
They had no knowledge whatsoever in regards to what they needed to do from the initial stage they're at now to getting to the next hurdle, and obviously the hurdles that's going to follow.
Yeah.
And as we know, there's a lot of startups out there have basically started a development and failed miserably because they did not look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It was obviously, let's build for now and we'll deal with that later, which obviously doesn't work.
Yeah. There's two highlights I can share without going anything specific detail of that particular conversation. So, number one is that it's getting them to think about what they're going to charge and be realistic, right? So when you say that you're going to be charging X amount, this is going to be our, revenue generation sort of flow, I immediately looked at it. I'm like, both of these models are not going to work, because both of these models are depend on a type of app that has millions of users, and you're not going to have millions of users in the first 6 months launching this. So that means you're going to make zero money immediately. I do take permission. I'm like, hey, look, can I tell you what you want to hear, or can I tell you what I actually think? And if I get your permission, I'm going to tell you exactly that, hey, listen, you're not going to make money out of that, because it's just simple, clear cut that you don't have users, and you don't have, even if you have users, they may not be paying for it. So that's number one, is to really getting them realistic on what is able that we can charge and at the early stages. And the second thing is to building the wrong thing. So in this particular example, wanting to build an app, which is completely unnecessary in this first stage.
Yep.
If you've got a small fund and to build an app, that's not the right move to do, right? So I went off into okay, which is not good for us. That means you're not going to be paying us, but that's fine. I rather do that because I rather guide you to the right direction so you do the right things. And then maybe 6 months, a year from now, you're going to execute and deliver on those. Now you have a serious requirement to build an app.
Right.
So usually that's the flow. With that, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll speak again. See you now.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.